Good afternoon, Ms. Bridgewater. When is the SAP reset date, please?
August the 15th.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
And let's see, courtroom 2, whenever you're ready, let us know.
We're gonna start with position 3, Ms. Curry.
Okay, good afternoon, Ms. Curry. I am Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we are conducting by video to help prevent the spread of the virus. Do you agree to have your case heard by video today?
Yes.
Thank you, Ms. Corey. You've been charged in case 23 CR 004711A with fleeing or attempting to elude a police officer, willful obstruction of law enforcement, and impeding the flow of traffic. Is there a history, Mr. Howard? Good afternoon.
Hey, first arrest is what I got.
Okay. Ms. Bickerstaff, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Judge Morrow. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Yes, so this event, not this event, but this incident occurred July 9th of this year off of Old National Highway. And this is where officers were patrolling Old National Highway and they noticed the defendant in a Hyundai Sonata stopped in the roadway. They noted in the warrant that the defendant was talking to someone, and then they eventually began to move slowly. Officers initiated the traffic stop, and then when officers approached and informed the defendant why she was stopped, they reviewed her license, her driver's ID, and then the defendant drove away at a high rate of speed without showing her actual driver's license. Officers told the defendant to stop, but she continued. So for these reasons, the state's recommendation is a $3,000 split bond. It's a $1,000 signature bond for the obstruction and the impeding flow of traffic, and then a $1,000 surety bond for the fleeing and eluding. And we're also asking for no driving unless the defendant has to go to work, any legal reasons or medical reasons.
Okay, this your case, Mr. Judd?
It is, Your Honor. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Good to see you. Let's see. I'm going to give her a signature bond if it's all right with you. A $1,000 signature bond through the jail for the fleeing, a $500 signature bond for the obstruction, $500 for impeding the flow of traffic. That's a total of a $2,000 signature bond through the jail. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Does that suit you, Mr. Judd?
It does, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay. Good luck to you, Ms. Corey.
Position 4, Davis.
Good afternoon, Ms. Davis. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes.
Thank you. Ms. Davis, you've been charged in case 23 CR 004712A with battery family violence. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
18 total. Last arrest was in February. Possession of cocaine, possession of a knife or a firearm during the commission. And that appears to be open out of Woodstock. And a 2013 probation violation. That's it.
Ms. Bickerstaff?
Yes, so this incident occurred yesterday at the La Quinta Inns and Suite in Union City at 6604 Londonderry Way. And this is where officers were flagged down by the front desk employee who informed them that an altercation on the 3rd floor between a man and a woman was going on. And so Mr. Antonio Johnson told officers that he and his girlfriend, the defendant, were engaged in a verbal altercation. And when he tried to leave, the defendant tried to stop him by pulling on his shirt. Officers noted that Mr. Johnson had scratches and a cut on his chest, and also that his shirt was ripped. The defendant advised that her and Mr. Johnson were in an argument, but things did not get physical. She stated that she was trying to get the defendant, not the defendant, but Mr. Johnson not to leave. But she stated that she did not rip his shirt. The two live together, and our office was able to speak to Mr. Johnson, and he let us know that they're in a relationship and they are living together. He let us know that he didn't think that the situation was that serious, and he let us know that they were arguing over going downstairs to get a room key. Your Honor, he also let us know that he wants contact with the defendant. And he also let us know that he has left the hotel, but he plans on living with the defendant at a different one. I believe Mr. Johnson might be on Zoom, so I'd like to sound for him at the appropriate time. For all of these reasons, the state's recommendation is a $3,000 surety bond. We're asking for a one-day anger awareness course, no further contact with Mr. Johnson, to stay away from the La Quinta Inns and Suites in Union City, as well as no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while out on bond.
Okay, I'm not sure if this was Mr. Antonio Johnson.
He was
That is
just
on. Right. Mr. Johnson, can you hear me?
Because apparently he's not connected to the auto, so he
Okay,
was at one point. I don't know what he did to his phone.
Mr. Johnson, if you want to try to log out and log back in, I'm happy to hear from you, but it looks to me as though you can't hear us, so I'm not sure if you're frozen or not. I'm going to give him the opportunity. Ms. McLeod, is this your case?
It is my case, Your Honor.
Yes, good afternoon. You can proceed.
Good afternoon. My client is 38 years old. She tells me that at the present time, she takes care of her elderly mother who is quite sick. And that is actually what she does. She's not otherwise employed, Your Honor. She tells me this was a total misunderstanding. She and Mr. Johnson were, they're just having an argument. It wasn't anything serious. Neither of them called the police, Your Honor. The police were called by the front desk, apparently, in this hotel, who saw them arguing and said they felt like they were disturbing other patrons based on what I read in the warrant. I know that my client has some history, Your Honor, but given her financial circumstances, the situation and what is alleged to have occurred, I would ask the court to consider giving her a signature bond so she can get out of jail. And she does want to have contact with Mr. Johnson. And I had the opportunity to speak with him earlier, Your Honor, and he tells me that he thought the whole situation was blown out of proportion. The officer came and put both of them in handcuffs and then made a call to let him go. He felt that my client should not have been arrested. I just wanted to put that out there, Your Honor, nothing further.
Mr. Johnson, are you able to hear us now? Still
No,
doesn't
sir.
appear.
No,
Okay, thank you. Given what I've heard about Mr. Johnson's wishes, it's going to be a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial per the judge, one-day anger awareness, no further violent contact with Mr. Johnson, and no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond.
Thank you.
Good luck to you, Ms. Davis. You're welcome.
Position 9, Hazel.
Judge, what was that contact again?
No further violent contact.
Thank
You're welcome. Good afternoon, Ms. Hazel. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. You have been charged in case 23 CR 004717H with willful obstruction of law enforcement officers and criminal trespass. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
It's a second arrest. Last was back in April for battery out of DeKalb County. Appears to be open.
Afternoon, Mr. Pilon.
Good afternoon, Judge. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. I hope you are as well.
Judge, in this case, the defendant refused to leave Marta after being instructed by a law enforcement officer. And then when the officer moved to place her under arrest, she ran from the officer. She currently has a $500 surety bond on both counts, Judge. Given the history, we're asking for a $2,000 total signature on bond, $1,000 per charge. and a stay away order from all MARTA locations.
You have any objection to any of that, Mr. Judd?
No objection to the signature bond, Your Honor. And I believe that she is okay with that stay away order.
Okay, it'll be a $2,000 signature bond through the jail, $1,000 per charge, and stay away from MARTA. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. Good luck to you, Ms. Hazel.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome.
Position 10,
Is it Ahiwanwa?
yes.
Yeah, yes, I'm sorry if I mispronounced it, ma'am. Good afternoon. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes.
Thank you, ma'am. You've been charged in case 23 CR 004718C with 2 counts of terroristic threats and acts. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
8th arrest, last was in January, failed to appear. On probation in Douglas County for hit and run. 2020 disorderly conduct conviction. 2017 simple assault obstruction, first offender.
Mr. Pilon?
Yes, Judge. In this matter, the defendant was cursing at employees, used expletives, and threatened to beat them. And this was during a time when the restaurant was crowded, including children, and she did not leave until an officer placed her under arrest. Our office was able to speak with both victims, Judge. The first is the manager and claimed that the defendant had also been there the day prior and threatened her and other employees on that day. And then we spoke to the other victim's mother. Other victim is a minor, and she is concerned that her child is being targeted by the defendant because of the repeated visits. It's my understanding from the first victim that the defendant may work nearby, but Judge, we would still ask for a stay away order as part of our bond recommendation. We'd also ask for no further contact with either victim and a $3,000 surety bond. The victim, I'm sorry, Judge, the minor victim's mother asked that we not use their name during the proceeding, but I would like to sound for the other victim, who is Miss Adrena Torbert.
What's the stay away location, Mr. Pilon?
Yes, Judge, the stay away is 1105 Woodstock Road in Roswell.
Is that a business?
Yes, Judge, it's a Cava restaurant, C-A-V-A.
If Ms. Torbert is with us this afternoon and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so.
Hi, Your Honor. I just wanted to ask.
Okay, hold on. Ms. Torbert, I'm happy to have you and I'm happy to let you speak. You'll have to activate your camera for me.
I'm sorry, is it activated?
Okay, there you go. Yes, and raise your right hand. Do you swear affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. You can put your hand down. What would you like to tell the court?
Nothing. I just wanted to address that we are just concerned for the safety of our minors and the team members who work underneath. And we just ask that there is no further contact and just really upholding the restriction from the premises and the contact from the employees.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Torbert. Yes, Ms. Kim.
Yes, I just want to make sure that my client has access to her workplace. I believe that 1105 Woodstock is a plaza. So there's a restaurant, Cava restaurant, and then there's another location, CVS, where my client has a job. So can we say that, I mean, I don't think it is more than 200 yards that my client's workplace is not that far. So I was wondering if she's allowed to go to work. She just doesn't go to that restaurant.
Okay, I'm not going to keep her from work, but she obviously is not going to be able to go back to Cava. or be anywhere anywhere close to it. Let's say 200 yards from Carver. Can she do that, Ms. Kim?
I don't think so because of her workplace. It's a whole lot less than 200 yards. It's in the same
Okay.
building.
Well, she's not going to be able to go back to Carver. She can go to and from work. She needs to go to the CVS. If that's where she works, she needs to leave the CVS. Okay. She doesn't need to get anywhere close to Carver, and she certainly doesn't need to go to Carver. If she does, then she'll be in violation. Okay. So she can go to and from work. I'm not going to keep her from work, but I don't want her going back there. You understand?
Yes.
Is that clear, Ms. Kim? Okay. You can go ahead.
Yes, my client is 27 years old, Your Honor. Other than traffic violation, I don't think that she has a much history. We would like to request for signature on bond. It was just bad yelling. There was no intention of harming anybody. She was going through a lot. She is facing eviction from her own place. There's a dog who's there all by the dog, dog is left alone in the cage, and she just took the final exam at the summer school, so she just had a really bad day. That was all, and we would like to request for signature on bond so she can go to graduation and also work.
Okay, it's going to be a $1,500 signature bond through pretrial per charge, which makes it a total of a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial per the judge. 1 day anger awareness, no further contact with Ms. Torbert or her minor child. Stay away from the Kava at 1105 Woodstock Road. She can go to work in that complex, but she needs to go straight to work at the CVS, I believe you said, Ms. Kim, and then she needs to leave that complex. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Okay, so ma'am, I'm going to let you sign your own bond, but if you go back to that Kava restaurant, you're going to be right back here. Okay, so stay away from the Kava.
Position 11, Kim.
Thank you for being here, Ms. Torbert. Yes, good afternoon, Ms. Kemp. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the state court expedited accusation calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. You have been charged in case 23 CR 004721J with battery family violence. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
7 total. Last was 2022 suspended license. She got an open case out of Clayton County for simple battery, family violence, and battery. Simple battery. I'm sorry. I don't know why I said it twice. That's it.
Mr. Pilon?
Yes, Judge, and just to clarify, I think pretrial's confusion, because I had this saying, there's a 2021 simple battery family violence arrest out of Clayton County. There's also a 2022 battery and aggravated assault arrest out of Clayton County. I was able to speak with them earlier today. Judge, in this case, the case in the warrant as it's presented, the defendant pushed the victim into a piece of furniture. The victim fell and cut her head. Per the victim, the defendant was attacked multiple times this weekend, and police responded multiple times this weekend. But because of the jurisdiction, we weren't able to get all of the reports before this hearing. And so there's a decent chance that this charge will be upgraded. Our victim we were able to contact the victim. She did have to seek medical care from a hospital. She stated that she was put in multiple choke holds from the defendant, and that the defendant hit her with multiple items. Judge, given the recent violent arrest history and the facts and the concern that it may be upgraded once we receive all of our reports, we're asking for an $8,000 surety bond, a stay away order from the incident address, and no further contact with Miss Keisha Benson, who I'm told will not be on the Zoom call.
I'm sorry, the stay away location, Mr. Pilon?
Yes, sir. The stay away location is 5401 Old National Highway, and it's in South Fulton.
And is that a residence or a business? Do you know?
That's a residence.
Residence, okay, thank you. Yes, Ms. McLeod.
Yes, Your Honor, my client is 30 years old. She tells me that she was recently separated from her wife, and after the separation, she met Miss Benson, and Miss Benson offered her the opportunity to stay with her so that she could save some money. She says she didn't know that Miss Benson's intention was for them to have a relationship. And when she indicated that she was not interested in a sexual relationship, then Miss Benson started to attack her and told her that she had to get out of her house and that she wanted her out of her house. She denies that she struck Miss Benson, Your Honor, and she says this is all retaliation because she spurned Miss Benson's advances towards her. My client is a student at Georgia State. She tells me, Your Honor. She tells me also that she is working. She does contract work sometimes for people who do construction. I understand that my client does have some history, Your Honor, but I don't think that it is major. And based on what her allegations are and the fact that this victim, I believe somewhere in the warrant I read where the victim claims that something happened before, but she chose not to call the police. I think there may be some merit in the allegations made by my client, and I would ask the court to consider giving her a signature bond so she can get out of jail. We don't have a problem with no further contact with Miss Benson, and also we don't have a problem with staying away from the incident location.
Okay, does she have anything at that location that she's going to need to retrieve, Ms.
Yes,
McLeod?
Lord. She would need a one-time police escort to go back to get her belongings.
Okay. It's going to be a $3,000 good bond, no further contact with Ms. Benson, stay away from the old National Highway address. She can go back there on one occasion with law enforcement to retrieve any belongings, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Ms. Kemp.
Position 17, Thomas. And position number 21 will be a medical reset, Mr. Winters.
Good afternoon, Ms. Thomas. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes.
Thank you, ma'am. You've been charged in case 23 CR 004724E with battery family violence. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
Fourth arrest, 2010 DUI and transporting an open container, 2019 disorderly conduct. That DUI, that was in Kansas. That's it.
Mr. Pilon?
Yes, Judge, in this matter, the victim stated the defendant punched him in the mouth and busted his lip and scratched his hand. The victim and the defendant lived together, which is the basis of the family violence element. And the victim also stated that the defendant believed that the victim had stolen his house key, but wasn't sure. And that was later confirmed when we spoke with the victim today, who confirmed that the defendant at some point returned the house key. Our victim has stated that he would like to have contact, but Judge, we are concerned just by the nature of the charge. I believe he is on the call. His name is Mr. Derek Reeves. Before you go there, Judge, our recommendation would be a $3,000 surety bond, no further contact with Mr. Reeves, and a stay away from 1212 James Parkway Northwest in Atlanta.
Okay. Mr. Reeves, if you're on the line and wish to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. You'll have to unmute yourself, activate your camera. Oh, there you go.
Hello.
Good afternoon, Mr. Reeves. Can you raise your right hand for me? Do you swear affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, you can put your hand down, sir. What would you like to tell the court?
That situation was just a misunderstanding. She is my baby mother now. We have a child. We're just trying to get past this whole thing so we can raise our daughter. This is my first child, and yeah, we don't really need this right now because trying to better ourselves and, you know, be good as co-parents to take care of our daughter.
Has this happened before?
No, sir.
And do you want her back in the household?
At the moment, we're not together. So we just have visitation so we can, you know.
Okay, so you all don't live together?
No, not anymore. It had been years. It'd been like a year.
Oh, okay, all right. Anything further, sir?
Basically that's it. It was just a misunderstanding. Things could have been handled a lot better. I think we both learned our lesson, and we do care about each other, you know, to take care of our child. That's about it.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate you being here, Mr. Reeves. Ms. Kim?
Yes, this incident happened May 31st, 2022, 14 months ago, definitely more than 1 year ago. They're having enough cooling time. They don't live together. My client lives with her mother. Your Honor, she has total of 3 minor children right now, 10, 4, and 6 months daughter with Mr. Reeves. She's trying to get a job. She does not have a job as of now because she's been full-time home stay-at-home mother. And she graduated from high school. She also completed Job Corps for business and finance. Because of her unemployment as of now, she's qualified for public defender services. We would like to request for signature on bond. There has been no violence offense in the past, and it happened a really long time ago. Thank you.
It's going to be a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial per the judge, 1-day anger awareness, no further violent contact with Mr. Reeves, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Ms. Thomas.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Next is position A&D, Ms. Wise.
Good afternoon, Ms. Wise. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes.
Thank you. Ms. Wise, you've been charged in case 23 CR 004725J with criminal trespass and damage to property. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
Second arrest, 2017, robbery and battery. It was non-process.
Ms. Bickerstaff?
Yes, Your Honor. So this incident occurred yesterday at 6180 Pattenham Drive in Roswell. And this is where officers met with Miss Lydia Kinhead, who is the defendant's mother. Ms. Kinhead told officers that she took the defendant's driver's license over a year ago due to her making poor decisions. And so the defendant came into Ms. Kinhead's bedroom, knocking aggressively and demanding her license back. And when Ms. Kinhead stated that she would not return the license, the defendant continued knocking and threatening to kill her mother. And so then Ms. Kinhead cut the driver's license in half and threw it on the floor. So the defendant then picked up a brick and threw it against Ms. Kinhead's 2008 Lexus. And so officers spoke with the defendant and she admitted that she threw a brick against her mother's vehicle over the driver's license. So for these reasons, the state's recommendation is a $1,000. Well, given that this is her first arrest, the state's recommendation is a $1,000 signature bond through pretrial services. We're asking for no further violent contact with her mother, Ms. Kinhead, to stay away from the incident location at 6180 Pattenham Drive in Roswell, as well as no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while out on bond. I don't believe Ms. Kinhead is on Zoom. But
Yes, she's here. She's
okay.
here, Ms. Bickerstaff.
Yes, so I would like to sound for her.
And so Ms. Kinhead and this Mr. Weiss, is that, are you the father?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. So If Ms. Kenhead or Mr. Weiss would like to address the court, I'm happy to hear from you. Let me speak with Ms. Kincaid. Kincaid, thank you, Mr. Weiss. Kincaid, if Ms. Kincaid, if you would like to address me, you'll have to unmute yourself. Okay, while she does that, Mr. Weiss, would you like to address the court?
Yes, I would, Your Honor. Thank you very much
Okay.
for
You're
hearing me.
welcome. Raise your right hand for me
Okay,
first.
I should be
ma'am.
unmuted now.
Okay, why don't you both raise your right hands for me? Do you both swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Weiss.
Yes. Thank you for allowing me to speak. What we're really dealing with here is Gabby has a degenerative neurological condition. She has juvenile onset of Huntington's disease, which deteriorates the frontal lobe of her brain. So we are her parents. She lives with us. We do our best to help her along, and she has episodes of issues, and we're trying the best we can to get her help. Normally we can calm an episode down. Occasionally we cannot. She suffers from a number of issues because of that, including depression and psychotic episodes, and is on medication for those things.
Mr. Weiss, hold on
Yes,
just
sir.
one moment for me. I don't want to go into her history because we're live streaming this on YouTube, and I want to make sure
Okay.
that we protect your daughter's pregnancy. I think that I've heard enough regarding that matter, but I think what I hear you saying is that you want contact with your daughter, and you want her back into your household so that you can take care of her.
Yes, sir.
Is that what I'm hearing? Yes. Okay.
Yes, sir.
And
Yes.
Ms. Kincaid, that's your wish also.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So I'm going to, and Ms. Kim, if it's all right with you, I'm going to allow you all to do that. It's going to be $1,000 signature bond, so she'll be able to sign us through pre-trial. No further violent contact with Ms. Kincaid, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond, but she is to remain on any medication that she is currently receiving. Okay. Does that suit you, Ms. Kim?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, and so Mr. Weiss and Ms. Kincaid, good luck with and you also, Ms. Weiss.
Thank you, Your Honor.
That's
You're
per
welcome.
judge.
Position 19.
Yes.
Position number 19, Ms. Wilkie.
Good afternoon, Ms. Wilkie. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video? Thank you. Ms. Wilkie, you've been charged in case 23 CR 004726C with criminal trespass. Is there a history?
Is this the one from the other day? The UPS one?
All right.
Is this, hold on. Okay, she's muted. Go ahead, Mr. Howard. I'm sorry.
21 total. Last arrest was in May for trespass. This 23 CR 002893F. So that's open. Got open giving false name 23 CR 000432C. Open shoplifting 23 CR 000433C. Got an open case in Douglasville, possession of a Schedule 2, giving false name. Got a 2019 simple battery DV conviction, 2016, 2012 shoplifting conviction, and a 2009, 2010 probation violation.
Speaker staff.
Yes, Your Honor. So this incident occurred yesterday at the Home Depot at 1580 Holcomb Bridge Road in Roswell. This is where, Your Honor, officers were dispatched to the Home Depot, and Mr. Curtis Fisher, the loss prevention officer, told officers that the defendant had been continuing to come back to the store after being issued a criminal trespass warning on May of this year. And so Mr. Fisher showed officers video footage of the defendant standing on the property, attempting to sell a Home Depot card to customers walking by, and officers placed the defendant under arrest. So for these reasons, the state's recommendation is a $1,000 surety bond. We're asking for a stay away from the Home Depot at 1580 Holcomb Bridge Road, as well as no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while out on bond. And just quickly, Your Honor, the defendant has, which pretrial mentioned, 4 open cases, and I would just ask that all 4 of those cases get put on the next SAP calendar. And I can give you the case numbers if you need them.
Okay. I don't need them right now, Ms. Bickerstaff, but if that's the case, and she's still in custody on August 15th, then we'll see if we can get all those placed on the same calendar to take care of. Thank you for alerting the court. Ms. Kim?
Yes, Your Honor, my client is 42 years old, and Your Honor, she was in-home healthcare caregiver for an old lady, and yet she passed away because of the COVID. Ever since then, she has not been able to get any job, so she is qualified for public defender services. She says that she's actually a victim of the incident with Winters Jacarium, who is in the same calendar today. He will be coming out a little bit later. Position, I believe.
Position number 21 was,
Yes, number 21.
going to receive the medical reset. That's in the
Oh, okay. Yeah, because of him, she was a victim of domestic violence, and she was running away, and then she got flat tire. So she didn't have money. Only thing she had was Home Depot. It was kind of emergency situation. Home Depot card. So we would like to request for signature on bond.
Okay, apparently, Ms. Wilkie was before me, thank you, on January of this year, and received a $500 good bond. So I'm not able to give her a signature bond, Ms. Kim. I'm gonna go with the state's request for a $1,000 good bond, stay away from the Home Depot on Holcomb Bridge Road, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Thank you, Ms. Lewis, for providing me with that. Good luck to you, Ms. Wilkie.
Position 1, battle.
Good afternoon, Mr. Battle. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Battle, you've been charged in case 23 CR 004710Y with simple battery. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
This 5th arrest. The last arrest was July 25th in DeKalb County, driving without a valid license. Theft by receiving, fleeing an officer, possession of a firearm during the commission, criminal damage to property, 2nd degree. Got a 2019 failure to appear. He was found not guilty on that. That's it.
Ms. Bickerstaff?
Yes, Your Honor, this incident occurred December 18th of 2022 at 740 Sydney Marcus Boulevard. And this is where the defendant threw juice in Ms. Zabria's Dawson's face. So for these reasons, the state's recommendation is a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial services. We're asking for a 1-day anger awareness course, no further contact with Ms. Dawson, and to stay away from 740 Sydney Marcus Boulevard, as well as no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while out on bond. I don't believe Ms. Dawson is on Zoom, but I would like to sound for her.
Is there something at the Sydney Marcus Boulevard? Is that a business?
Let me see. I'm not sure. Let me do a quick Google search really quickly.
I was just wondering, Ms. Bickerstaff, you're fine. Yeah, that's fine. If it's okay with you, Mr. Judd, it's going to be a $2,000 signature, given the age, a $2,000 signature bond through the jail. No further contact with Ms. Dawson, and stay away from that 740 Sidney Marcus Boulevard. Does that suit you, Mr. Judd?
It does. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Good luck to you, Mr. Battle.
Position 2, Mr. Bussell.
Good afternoon, Mr. Bussell. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes.
Thank you. You've been charged in case 23 CR 004729D with battery. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
10th arrest. Last was 2022 probation. 2021 probation. 2017 failure to appear. 2017 robbery conviction. That's it.
Ms. Bickerstaff?
Yes, Your Honor. So this incident occurred July 26th of this year at 5021 Old National Highway. This is the Best American Hotel. And this is where Miss Echelon Trimble told officers that her boyfriend, the defendant, struck her in the face because he asked her for drugs and she told him that she didn't have any. And so the defendant then swung on Miss Trimble 3 times and then he took her money. Officers noted swelling, a cut, and bleeding coming from Ms. Trimble. So for these reasons, the state's recommendation is a $3,000 surety bond. We're asking for a 1-day anger awareness course, no further contact with Ms. Trimble, an ADET, and to stay away from the Best American Hotel off of Old National, as well as no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while out on bond. I don't believe Ms. Trimble is on Zoom, but I would like to sound for her.
If Ms. Trimble is with us and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. Doesn't appear so, Ms. Bickerstaff. Ms. McLeod?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Bustle is 39 years old. I noticed that pretrial said he had some history, but he has no violent history. He denies that he attacked the complaining witness, Your Honor. In fact, he tells me that the complaining witness stole some money from him, and that was the reason that they had an altercation, but he says he did not strike her. He said when he was arrested, he was in the process of moving. All his stuff was left, so he lost all his stuff because the police arrested him. He also says that the complaining witness was someone with whom he had a brief relationship, and when he indicated to her that he was no longer interested in pursuing that relationship, she became angry. Given the fact that my client has no history of violence, Your Honor, and the fact that he's lost all his belongings and is currently working because he's in jail, I would ask the court to consider giving a signature bond. He has no problem having no further contact with the complaining witness because that was what started the issue in the first place. The fact that he indicated he didn't want to have any contact with her.
Okay. It's going to be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial per the judge, 1-day anger awareness, no further contact with Ms. Trimble, stay away from the Best American Hotel on Old National Highway, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome, Ms. McLeod. Good luck to you, Mr. Bussell.
And Your Honor, that concludes my business before the court today. May I be excused?
Yes, have a good afternoon.
You too,
We'll
Your
see you
Honor.
next time. Thank you.
Position 7, Mr. Franklin.
Good afternoon, Mr. Franklin. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Franklin, you've been charged in case 23 CR 004715B with criminal trespass and willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
I got first arrest, resident of South Carolina.
Okay. Ms. Bickerstaff?
Yes, so this incident occurred yesterday at the MARTA station at 30 Alabama Street. And this is where the defendant returned to the 5 Points MARTA station after being issued a criminal trespass warning in order to leave. The defendant then attempted to run from officers. And when he was captured, the defendant resisted arrest. So for these reasons, the state's recommendation is a $1,200 signature bond through pretrial services, $600 for each charge, and to stay away from 30 Alabama Street, as well as no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while out on bond.
Okay, I'm just gonna send it through the jail, Mr. Judd. Is there any objection to any of that?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, so it's a $1,200 signature bond through the jail, stay away from 30 Alabama Street, no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Franklin.
All right, thank you. Position
You're welcome.
Thank you,
eight,
Your Honor.
Mr. Gilbert.
Okay. Good afternoon, Mr. Gilbert. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Gilbert. You've been charged in case 23 CR 004716Y with battery, family violence, battery against a female who is pregnant, and cruelty to children in the 3rd degree. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
20 total. Last arrest was July 26th. Suspended license out of Gwinnett. Got an open DUI in Gwinnett, open burglary in Cobb. On probation in DeKalb County. See, no, he should be off for that. Oh no, ag assault is what he on probation for. So September 2019, they gave him 18 months confined, then 3 years, 6 months probation. That's it.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Pilon.
Yes, Judge. And in addition to that, I show a 2017 battery. So I don't know if it pops because it's from the same year. There was a 2017 battery conviction, and the 2017 ag assault was 2 counts. Judge, in this case, defendant struck the victim while she was dropping off their child. The victim was sitting in the vehicle, as was their child. Yeah, their child. The victim, in addition to that, was also 8 months pregnant with their child. So I think you follow me. I mixed that up pretty well.
I got it. I understand.
When officers arrived, they were able to observe lacerations face, and additionally, the victim showed cell phone evidence of previous abuse. Just we were able to contact the victim, and she does deny the allegations, but the entire interaction with officers was recorded on the body cam. It's my understanding that the victim would like contact and is on Zoom. Our recommendation would be no further contact, a stay away from the incident address, which is 396 Brownlee Road, Southwest Atlanta. No alcohol, drugs, or weapons, and a $5,000 surety bond because of the history.
What's the alleged victim's name?
Ms. Shantavius Hurd.
How is that $5,000 broken down?
Judge, I would recommend $3,000 on count 1, $1,000 on count 2, $1,000 on count 3.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Ms. Hurd, if you are on the line, and I believe that you're under Shantavius, if you would like to be heard, now is your opportunity to do so. I need for you to unmute yourself, activate your camera, and I'll have to swear you in. Good afternoon, ma'am. Can you raise your right hand for me? Swear affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Okay, we can't hear you, Ms. Hurd. Ms. Hurd, you're gonna have to get to a steady place, and I don't know if this. Do we know if her Ms. Lewis.
It's working. It's working. I don't know what she's doing on her end, but it's working. She do have a mic.
Judge, Judge, in candor to the court, I'll tell you that she would like to have contact with the victim and would like him to return to the residence.
Apparently she's trying to speak now, but I don't think she has her volume up but her auto is connected. We can't hear you, no ma'am. Do you have a Bluetooth on or somewhere connected that's going through a Bluetooth? No ma'am, we still can't hear you.
We can't hear you, ma'am.
may have
So,
to reconnect.
well, you might have to log out and log back in possibly. I'm not sure, but we cannot hear you. And it seems like things are working right. I'm going to go to you, Mr. Judd.
Yes, Your Honor. Your Honor, for Mr. Gilbert, he is 35 years old. He's lived in Georgia his entire life. And I'm sorry, I do want to state for the record that Mr. Gilbert doesn't qualify for the services of the public defender past the hearing of bond. So today's representation is purely for the purposes of bond. Your Honor, he's lived in Georgia his entire life. He's lived at the same address for the past 5 years, and that's at 396 Brownlee Road. It's my understanding that that's actually his mom's address. And so if the court were inclined to provide both a stay away order from Brownlee Road and a no contact with the complaining witness, that would leave Mr. Gilbert homeless. So, Your Honor, we are asking that those conditions not be attached. He attended Grady High School. He's currently working on his GED. So, I mean, he is an Atlanta native. He has a lot of family here in Georgia, his mother with whom he lives, his aunts, uncles, cousins, sisters. Your Honor, he does have 4 children, a 10-year-old son, 11-year-old daughter, 1-year-old daughter, and a 1.5-month-old daughter. So, you know, he does have a lot of children whom he co-parents with, even if he's not primary caregiver. So he does need to get out. He does need to get back to his job so that he can provide for his family. Your Honor, he has had a stable job for the past 4 months. He also volunteers in his community. He feeds the homeless through his church. It's my understanding that he and Ms. Heard want to stay together. Furthermore, Mr. Gilbert does completely deny the allegations. There was no physical altercation, that Ms. Heard was pregnant with his child, and that he would never hit a pregnant woman, especially with his child. And it's my understanding that Ms. Heard would like to also deny those allegations. We do ask that he be considered for a signature bond today.
I'm not inclined to give him a signature bond, Mr. Judd, given his history. Is that Ms. Heard?
She's coming back on the line at the bottom, Judge. I don't know who this
Okay.
is.
Okay, well, I've heard of what the state has said, and they contacted her. It's going to be, I'm going to take the state's recommendation with regard to the bond amount, $3,000 for the battery, $1,000 for the battery against a female, and $1,000 for the cruelty, a $5,000 good bond. No further violent contact with Ms. Heard, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Gilbert.
Thank you, Your Honor.
We got that.
And Your Honor, if I may, for the record, Mr. Franklin, who was on last, also did not qualify for the public defender's office. I forgot to mention that while he was up.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Position 12, Lawrence.
Good afternoon, Mr. Lawrence. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the state court expedited accusation calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Sir.
Thank you. Mr. Lawrence, you've been charged in case 23 CR 004719C with battery. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
14 total. Last arrest was back in May, probation. On probation, the car for possession of cocaine and obstruction. 2022 failed to appear. 2021 battery DV, cruelty in the 3rd conviction. 2009 simple battery conviction. That's it.
Mr. Pilon?
Yes, Judge, in this matter, a 911 caller advised that the victim was being beat by a male and running from door to door, knocking and asking for help. My understanding is the incident location is an economy lodge. So the victim was just banging on each door looking for help. When officers arrived, they observed a swollen lip and a ripped shirt, along with other swelling on the victim's head. The victim told officers that the defendant hit her, kicked her in the head, and dragged her up the stairs. Judge, in light of those facts and in light of the defendant's conviction history, we're asking for a $5,000 surety bond. No further contact with the victim, whose name is Miss Oliva Murray. A stay away from the incident address, which is 4100 Wendell Drive, and no alcohol, drugs, or weapons.
Let's see if Ms. Murray is on the line and wishes to address the court. Now is your opportunity. Okay, Ms. Kim?
Yes, Your Honor. My client is 32 years old, and he claims that he was not even at the scene. He was not there. This is somebody else. My client has a different place to reside, so we have no objection to stay away. And she actually is a baby mother of their baby who is 4 months old. So my client wants to have a third party transfer to have a visitation for his child. Other than that, he's totally okay with no further contact with Oliva Murray as well. Your Honor, he has been working at chicken plant for a long time, but he just lost his job. So last 2 to 3 weeks, he's been trying to find a new job and he's been having a hard time. So he's qualified for public defender services. He graduated from high school, and Your Honor, we would like to request for a signature on bond. And yet, considering his history, we would like to request for a maximum of $2,000 good bond. Thanks.
Okay, it's going to be a $2,000 good bond. No further contact with Ms. Murray. Stay away from the Economy Lodge on Wendell Drive. He can have third-party contact with any minor children. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond.
Thanks, Your Honor.
You're welcome. Good luck to you, Mr. Lawrence.
Position 13, Patterson.
Good afternoon, Mr. Patterson. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video? You mute courtroom 2.
Yes, Your Honor. Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Patterson. You've been charged in case 23 CR 004720E with simple battery. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
9th arrest. Last was 2022 trespass. I'd have done with it. That was no low. I got an open shoplifting, forgery in the second out of the cab. 2021 simple battery against police conviction. 2021 obstruction conviction. 2020, you got a couple of shoplifting convictions from 2020. And 2020 trespass, failure to leave, petty theft out of Florida. That's it.
Okay, Mr. Pilon.
Judge, in this matter, the victim is a landscape worker at Georgia State and was doing landscaping when the defendant came by and hit him with a Coke can. We weren't able to contact our victim. Judge, with the recent history, we're asking for a $2,000 surety bond. Stay away from the incident location, which is 24 Peachtree Center Avenue, Southeast, Atlanta. And no further contact with the victim, who I'd like to sound for, is Jose Daniel Brito Nunez.
Mr. Nunez is on the line and wishes to address the court. Now is your opportunity to do so. Doesn't appear so, Mr. Pilon. Ms. Kim?
Yes, Your Honor. My client is 35 years old, and actually he is going back to school. He has been going back to school. He's right now junior, and he's majoring in journalism. So he was studying, he was already sitting there. This is kind of like, he says that he didn't hit the landscape worker. He was just touching things. And the Coca-Cola he was drinking, the bottle accidentally touched him probably, but he does not even think it was actually hitting him. My client denies the allegation, and he has a address here. He's been here a long time, and we would like to request for a signature on bond. By the way, he does have a eye disability, Your Honor. So maybe that's why he couldn't see that well that there was somebody else that when he was throwing the trash away. So that's the reason that we are asking for signature on bond. Thank you.
24 Peachtree Center Avenue, is that somewhere you saying he's in school, Miss Kim? Is that
Yes.
somewhere that he is, that a campus
Yes,
location?
yes, Your Honor.
Okay, I don't want to keep him, and what campus is that?
Georgia State, Your Honor.
Okay, I'm not going to keep him away from getting an education, so.
Understood.
But it's going to be a $5,000 signature bond through the jail. No further contact with Mr. Nunez, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Patterson.
Position 14.
Good afternoon, Mr. Perrick. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. You've been charged in case 23 CR 004722G with giving false information to law enforcement and driving without a valid license. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
I'm gonna defer to the state on this one. My file wouldn't open up.
Yes, Judge, I have that. I showed 21 cycles in Georgia, 1 cycle in Tennessee, 1 in California, 1 in Florida. I showed that there's an open case in our court, 2023 arrest of 716. This incident is 731 of driving while license revoked. And then I show 7 DUI convictions. One of those also included possession of meth, false name, drug objects, and driving while license revoked. And 2 of those DUI convictions are one is in Tennessee, 1 is in California.
Okay.
Judge, in this matter, defendant was in a traffic stop, and he gave false name and date of birth to an officer. He only recanted that information when the officer showed him a photo of himself with the correct name and date of birth. In addition, he was driving a vehicle with a canceled license. Judge, he also has multiple FTAs in his history. So for that reason, we're asking for a $1,000 surety bond, $500 per count, and no driving without a valid license while out on bond.
Ms. Kim?
Yes, Your Honor. My client is 34 years old, and he is working as a freelancer for a large cosmetic company. So he's not qualified for public defender services. Your Honor, those DUI charges, I also checked, that's from like 2008, very long time ago. He says that he went to rehab treatment. He's all clean and nice. Your Honor, it was probably a mistake that he got actually arrested for this, but we would like to request for a signature on bond. If Your Honor is not inclined to give him a signature on bond, I guess $1,000, that should be reasonable. Thank you.
Okay, and I do think that's reasonable. $500 good bond per charge, $1,000 good bond total, no driving without a valid license, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Perrick. Who do we have calling to you, mute?
Oh, I'm sorry, position 15, Smith.
Good afternoon, Mr. Smith. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the state court expedited accusation calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir, Judge.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. You've been charged in case 23 CR 004730J with criminal damage and trespass to property. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
21 total. Got a 2014 simple battery DV conviction, 2021 probation violation. He's on probation for 2 counts of ag assault, false imprisonment. In 2017, they gave him 5 years to serve, and he got like 45 years of probation left.
Mr. Pilon?
Yes, Judge. In this matter, officers met with the victim, whose name is Miss Sherry Smith, and Miss Smith stated the defendant knocked the phone out of her hand. Defendant is on custody on a probation violation. The number is 23 PF 005668, and also has multiple violent offenses against women. I showed 2 in our courtroom, 14 CR 000958 and 14 SC 127286. Judge, we're asking for a $1,000 surety bond. No further contact with Miss Smith. Stay away from the incident location, which is 7000 Roswell Road in Sandy Springs. And we'd like the sound for Miss Smith.
If Miss Sherry Smith is present and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. Doesn't appear so, Mr. Pilon. Mr. Judd?
Yes, Your Honor. Your Honor, Mr. Smith is 31 years old. Well, let me state for the record first, Mr. Smith does not qualify for the public defender's office, so today's representation is purely for the purposes of bond. Mr. Smith is 31 years old. He's lived in Georgia for well over 10 years. He's lived at his current address in Atlanta, Georgia for about 1 year. Your Honor, he does live currently with his sister, so he lives with family. He does have that family here in Georgia. He has a 4-year-old daughter for whom he provides, I believe, primary care. Your Honor, he has had a stable job with Myers Industrial with installation for about 4 years, and he does volunteer in his community and around his community in College Park, working with kids' football leagues. And as far as he is aware, doesn't have any failure to appears. It's my understanding, though, given the facts that Mr. Pilon, and sorry if I mispronounced your name, that he gave, that the information I got from Mr. Smith may have been about a different case, but it's my understanding that this was with his ex-wife, who he does not have any children with, and they have no contact anymore. Your Honor, we are asking that he be considered for a signature bond on this case.
Given that this is a 2021 case, it's going to be $1,000 signature bond through the jail. No further contact with Ms. Smith. Stay away from the Roswell Road address. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Smith.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Position 16, Stroud.
Good afternoon, Mr. Stroud. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the state court expedited accusation calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Stroud, you've been charged in case 23 CR 004723F with battery family violence. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
6 total, 2019 probation, 2017 DUI conviction, 2012 DUI NOLO. That's it.
Mr. Pilon?
Yes, Judge. In this matter, the victim and defendant are boyfriend and girlfriend who live together and were at a concert at Ameris Bank Amphitheater. At some point, the defendant struck the victim in the head while they were at the concert, and victim fled to the nearest law enforcement officer and stated that her boyfriend had headbutted her. The officer noted a laceration on the victim's head The defendant stated the victim fell and maybe their heads collided on the way down. We were not able to contact the victim, but we're asking for a $3,000 surety bond. No further contact with the victim, whose name is Miss Erica Gaddy, and a stay away from the incident location, which is 2200 Encore Parkway, Alpharetta. And I would sound for Miss Gaddy.
Ms. Gaddy is present and wishes to address the court. Now is your opportunity. Does not appear so. Ms. Kim?
Yes, Your Honor. My client is 28 years old. He was born and raised here in Georgia, Your Honor. We have no objection to stay away. However, my client strongly prefers to have no further violent contact since they are couple and they're still dating, they're still in a relationship. And my client claims that it was an accident. He also has a lot of scratches from falling down. He says that he's working at Newberry Maintenance Company as a fabricator. So he's not qualified for public defender services. Today's representation is only for the purpose of bond hearing, and he completed GED and he did not have any violence history. He only had a DUI history, Your Honor. So we would like to request for signature on bond. Thanks.
Have you spoken with Ms. Gaddy, Ms. Kim?
I couldn't speak. I texted, I called, but I was not able to reach her.
It's going to be a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial per the judge, 1-day anger awareness. Since no one has spoken with Ms. Gaddy at this point in time, no further contact with Ms. Gaddy. Of course, Ms. Kim, you can modify this if Ms. Gaddy's wishes are different. Stay away from the Encore Parkway address and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Stroud.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Position 5, Mr. Elder. Come on. Come on, sir.
And Your Honor, Mr. Elder did refuse the services of the public defender.
Okay. Good afternoon, Mr. Elder. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the state court expedited accusation calendar that we are conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Elder, let me just tell you, you have a right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present at these proceedings. We provided you with a public defender to assist you this afternoon. Is there any reason that you want to tell the court why you don't want to use their service? Mr. Elder?
They want to know why you don't want to use the public defender office.
You hear me, Mr. Elder?
Ready, Val.
Okay, it does not sound as though he wants to speak. Ms. Bickerstaff?
Yes, Your Honor. So this incident occurred yesterday at 693 Dalvany Street. This is an apartment unit. And this is where officers met with Miss Maura Salvador, who advised them that the defendant had received a verbal warning on July 28th of this year not to return to the property. And yesterday, the defendant returned to the property and he was threatening residents there. When officers arrived, he was sitting on a dumpster that was located on the property. And when he was told to leave by officers, he stated that he owned the property. So for these reasons, the state's recommendation is a $1,000 surety bond. We're asking for a stay away order at 693 Dalvany Street, as well as no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while out on bond.
Okay. Mr. Judd, are you with me?
I am, Your Honor.
Or, Mr. Judd, would you please, I'm going to request a social worker visit in this case. And if possible, would you be able to see if Mr. Howard is able to speak with Mr. Elder for the court?
I could definitely check and see if Mr. Howard is in and willing to do that.
Okay, thank you. And so I'm gonna take the state's recommendation, $1,000 surety bond. I would like either a social worker or Mr. Howard to speak with Mr. Elder. Stay away, no further contact, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons.
With Mr. Elder now.
Kasha, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
What were you saying?
I can speak
Oh,
with
you-
Mr. Elder if you need me to.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. Is he known to you?
No, not at this.
Okay, all right. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yep.
Your Honor,
Parliament Courtroom 2, 404.
Say it again, Mr. Judd.
sorry, Your Honor, in that case, since Ms. Kasha is gonna go speak with Mr. Elder, do you still want me to check with Mr. Derek?
No,
Howard?
no, that's fine. She'll follow up with Mr. Howard for me. Thank you.
Yes, Your Honor, thank you.
Or the court. Thank you.
I'll be calling shortly, Officer Blunt.
Okay. Position 20, Mr. Williams.
And I think there was a request for a breakout on Mr. Williams. Is that right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, let's see. Who needs to go into the breakout room?
Is that everybody? Okay. I'll get it started. Hold on one second.
Okay. Ms. Falk, good afternoon. Good to see you. I didn't know if I was gonna
Good
get a chance
afternoon.
to this afternoon. I hope you're well.
I am. Thank you, Your Honor.
Good. Good afternoon, Mr. Williams. We've had an opportunity to discuss your case in a breakout room. At the present time, the bond is going to be $1,000 good bond. No further contact with Ms. Barkston. Stay away from her apartment 25E. You're going to have a social worker visit and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. And we're going to see you back again on Thursday on a calendar also. All right. Good luck to you, Mr. Williams. Is that everyone? Is that everyone?
That concludes it in courtroom 2.
Okay. Thank you very much. We appreciate your help this afternoon. Okay, Ms. Bridgewater, whenever you're ready.
Okay, position 6. Did I miss something?
I was told that they bonded out.
Okay, I did miss that. Okay. Once again, the reset date is August the 15th. Position number 1 is reset further notice with a $2,000 SOB through the jail. Position 2, reset further notice with a $2,000 SOB through pretrial per judge. Position 3, reset further notice with a total $2,000 SOB through the jail. Position 4, reset further notice with a $3,000 SOB through pretrial per judge. Position 5 is going to the SAP calendar with a $1,000 good bond. Position 6 is reset further notice as the defendant has been released. Position 7, reset further notice with a total $1,200 SOB through the jail. Position 8 is going to the SAP calendar with a $5,000 good bond. Position 9, reset further notice with a total $2,000 SOB through the jail. Position 10 is reset further notice with a total $3,000 SOB through pretrial per judge. Position 11, I'll come back. It's amongst my paperwork. I'll come back and give you that one.
I got 3,000 good bonds.
3,000 good bond. Does everybody else have that?
Yes.
Okay. So with that being said, a $3,000 good bond is going to the SAP calendar. Position 12, reset to the SAP calendar with a $2,000 good bond. 13 is reset further notice with a $5,000 SOB through the jail. Position 14 going to the SAP calendar with a total $1,000 good bond. 15 is reset further notice with a $1,000 SOB through the jail. 16 reset further notice with a $3,000 SOB through pretrial per judge. 17 is reset further notice with a $3,000 SOB through pretrial per judge. 18, reset further notice with a $1,000 SOB through pretrial per judge. 19 is going to the SAP calendar with a $1,000 good bond.
Excuse me, Ms. Bridgewater, may I chime in for a second? With position 19, I'm sorry, excuse me. Can we add her other 4 cases to the SAP calendar for that's coming up?
Sure, just send it to me. I'll do it.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. Okay, position 20 is reset to this Thursday to the comp calendar with a $1,000 good bond. Position 21 is reset to tomorrow's calendar as it is medically reset. Any questions, comments, or otherwise?
Ms. Bridgewater, we're gonna have to, that competency case that you said, for this Thursday?
Judge, would you like to chime in on this, please?
Yes, this is a special matter that we discussed that I'm hoping that he does not have to remain in jail for $1,000. So I'm hoping that that we can get that done. It's been agreed upon by the solicitor's office. So if Judge Law would handle that, we'd appreciate it.
And Mr. Howard's aware of it. I'm just asking.
And Ms. Lewis, I can reach out to Mr. Howard and discuss it with him. This is something we had previously discussed, trying to work out cases of this nature and have PAD reach out to those defendants.
There will have to be a add-on. I'll let Mr. Jordan know, and Mr. Howard needs to be informed. Because we do not bring those people out on the counter, which y'all are aware of it.
Right.
I
We just,
understand.
Huh?
and I'm sure Mr. Howard would not want someone sitting in jail that doesn't have to, so he's,
Your
Okay.
Honor, I will forward that email to Mr. Howard right now.
thank you.
And CC
And
Mr. Jordan on it, please.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay.
Well,
I
my
think
fellow
you-
co-workers, I think that's it.
Well, you all did a great job. 330, 20 people. Very good.